I started recording this session. For today workshop, I am going to talk about the quick container development setup. The documentation is made by Tina a while ago, and I think it's a really good documentation to have a local setup up and running. For this, we are going to use two container tool. One is Podman that I am going to use for the database for Postgres, and DistroBox that I am going to use for everything else, running openQA, run the workers, and so on. So to start, you of course need this tool, these two tool. You can find them in Zipa, and I have already installed it, so I don't need it. And I lost this documentation here. Let me Okay. As I said, we are going to run two different container. One is Podman. I have already a Podman Postgres, but we can run even Podman and DistroBox container during this session. First of all, we need to set up a little configuration. I have moved all of my openQA configuration inside this directory, but you can use wherever you want. Let me open yes, this is my custom environment variable that is basically a fork of this configuration that you can find in the in this site. I have set the VI movement inside the containers, and since I have a strange method to manage my Git repository, I also change a little the variables. Let's now run a Podman. Let me zoom in. Podman volume. I have already created this volume, so I don't need to do once again, but this is the first thing you need to do to create a Postgres container volume, a Podman container volume. And let me share volume. I think it's ls all, maybe all. Yes, I have already open QA Postgres and another volume that I use for test. So now let's run the container. I have a different command that you can find on the documentation because I don't want the container to be removed once is stop. I want to be able to run every time I need them. I need it, and I don't want to do every time the same container setup. So in order to do that, I simply remove the RM at the start. And just to show you what what it is. Okay, once you run the container, you can follow the log of the container test. Yeah, and this is basically what I tend to have every time I run the Postgres container. Um, so the one must need to run command inside the container is later on I will open a Tmax environment, but for now we can use a different terminal. Um, for now, let's exec Postgres. Okay, in test. And these two command is basically the creation of the database and the user and the setup of the password. Um, okay, this is the only thing you need to do for the container setup. The database need to be initialized, but we are going to talk about it later. But for now, let's use the one that I already have. Yes. So now we need to create a DistroBox container. I'm not going to use the lib version. I tend to use the tumbleweed box. And to do that, let me zoom in once again. DistroBox, create, and there we go. I have already created the DistroBox, the box, the container, but just to prove that it works, we can do step by step. Now you will see that the container is created. Now we need to enter in order to use it. So DistroBox, enter, openQA dev test. The first time you log in inside the box, DistroBox will install every package that the image is all the dependency that the container needs to fulfill. This takes some times. It may take some times. We can skip this because I have already done the installation and everything. So we can stop it and also remove the box. And we can enter inside the distro box, enter the one that I have already created. So you see that once the container is created, all the basic package are already installed and everything else. So the login inside the container is pretty straightforward. We need a couple of package inside the container. Since we are a SUSE employee, we want the CA certificates, and also the OS autonomous development dependencies, the openQA development dependencies, and also some of the scripts that we have created on for the OS autonomous. And the one of the useful package tool is Crudini. Crudini is basically a tool that can help you to manipulate value inside an ini file, because OpenQA use for the configuration .ini file. The follow-up session, the follow-up things to do is to clone the repository if you are not already done it, because I have already done it, so I don't need to do that. But if you don't have it, of course, you need to clone it. Also, we need a couple of directory creation. Once is the openQA directory that I have right here. The openQA directory is going to be used for all of the datas that openQA use. For example, for the needles, for the images, and the test results, and so on. And of course, sorry, there is any, okay, no. Another thing that you can do is also install Perl module, so we can set up also a directory for Perl module that we are going to use only for openQA development. And yes, yeah, yeah. So now let me clean up some. I don't need to clean up this, but just to be clear, there are four different, I think four, yes, four different configuration file that you need to set up in order to run the openQA instance. One is the client.conf. This configuration is basically used for for interact with openQA using the APIs, and another and of course, for our container, we don't need strong and private key and secret. So we are going to use the 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Until the F. And the second configuration to must have is the database configuration. Since we are locally, our Postgres configuration are going to be database name openqa minus local, and the host is going to be the localhost on port 5432, because it's the port that we set it up previously. Yes, here we go. We have it previously when we run the Podman container. And the other two configuration are one for the workers, and the other one is for openQA itself. We use the let me open openQA repository. This configuration, the third and the fourth documentation configuration you can find inside the repository, inside the etc openqa. We are going to use the openqa.ini and the workers.ini. In the documentation, you can find once you have sourced the file that we have created in the first at first, we have set it up a different environmental variable. So we are going to use them to copy those two configuration. Let me source, not this. Let me source openQA env. So now we have, for example, openQA repos. As I said, I have not standard way to manage a Git project, so I need to change that configuration. So I also need to change this command. I have already prepared openQA repos. Maybe not. Let's copy, paste, and change. No, first of all, let's remove, because since I have already the workers.ini, I also need to remove it. Yeah, let's remove this. So now what we have is a new worker configuration. There is all of the default configuration, yes. So to change, since we are locally and we have different port for openQA for the Postgres, we need to change a little bit the configuration that are shipped by default. To do that, we are going to use crudini, and we are going to set. We can also copy paste the configuration, the command. I don't remember if I source the file, so let me source again. And yes, paste it. And now what we have, since we have run the crudini with global host and the value, we now have host inside the global configuration, the host variable with the HTTP localhost 9526 set it up. We do the same thing for this. Yes, paste it. For this one, and we have also the worker host name. We also need to do the same thing for the openqa.ini. Let's search. I have already the crudini run, but we can do once again. Paste it, and yeah, the command it worked as it should. Now, to have workers and openQA usable, we need to run to make command. One is for the host autoinst, and one is for the openQA. Let me change directory on. Since I never remember the configuration I have set it up. Let me open here. Yes, openQA, it should be here. openQA, yes, git base directory, and yes. Now we want to install the host autoinst. We want to run the make for host autoinst, so we are going to change directory inside the host autoinst. And then run the make. I have already run the make, so my output is pretty bare bone. But if you run for the first time, it takes a while. Not much, but it takes a while. And now let's run the node. Let's install the node modules that we need for openQA. So make node hello, make node modules. Also here I have already installed all the node modules. I don't want to remove node modules because they every time you install node modules, they are quite a few. So we don't want to use our time to do that. And we also need to initialize the database. I have already. I maybe I don't. Yes, let's run the database because probably I forgot to do that. Let's run, not run, start. I think is this one, and podman logs Postgres minus follow. I have already uh, Postgres, openQA Postgres database initialized, so I don't need to do that. But if you are at the first time you run and you run the database, you need to initialize the database. Funny story, yesterday, while I was doing tests for this workshop, I forgot to initialize the database. I wrote in our Slack channel, and everyone wrote that maybe I didn't initialize the database. So don't forget to do that because it's really important. Now let's move into a more no here in a Tmax environment because we want to run every piece of openQA. So let's close this, and I think I have already a Tmax. Yes. Let me open openQA repository. Yes. Okay. Now, once again, I need to enter the distro box because I close it, and don't forget to source the environment because we use inside our script. And now you don't need much to run the web UI interface. The only thing you need to do is to run script openQA web UI daemon. This is the only thing you need to run to watch to change the web UI. So now we are in the localhost. We don't have much. The only thing we have right now is the web UI. But of course, we want also workers to connect, minion job, GRU, the scheduler, and so on. So if you need everything, you need, of course, run the other pieces. For example, openQA WebSocket. Let me open 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now what we want to run is the remember to enter the distro box, enter openQA and source. Yes, and let's run the script openQA WebSocket daemon. Okay, and this is another pieces. Let's run the scheduler. Let's enter first into the distro box, source the environmental variable, and open QA schedule. Okay, let's run by hand. Open QA scheduler daemon. Yes, we also have this distro box. Enter distro openQA source the environmental variable. We run the scheduler, so now we want the GRU. Okay, we have it, and in the end, the last two pieces, at least the last two pieces. because if you want more workers, you need to run multiple workers. But we are going to use only one workers for this, so we're going to run a script openqa live handler daemon, and in the last part, distrbox, enter openqa. Let's source the file, and this is going to be copy pasted. Sorry, maybe it's me. Better. Yeah, you can do it as well. Yeah, but since I most of the time I don't run every piece of the openQA. I just need to run once, maybe twice Windows. And worker ISO to video. Yes. Let's run inside script worker. Invalid path, of course. Let me change this a little bit. Yeah, it should work now. Yeah. So now we have everything set it up for openQA development. We have every pieces. So now we can also do clone test just to be sure that we have everything set it up. So distrbox and then source, and let me take a test that we can clone. For example, I always use Git, so I am going to use Git as once again. What we need to do, open QA, clone, open clone. Yeah. I think, yes, this is the test I have done yesterday. Let's copy the, if I don't, okay, and clone. Done. So if we refresh the page, we should see, yes, test that is run, that is currently running inside our setup, inside our local openQA setup. And yeah, that's all. One thing that is really useful, at least for me, is to have the possibility, for example, let me close this. For example, if I want to test the openQA web UI, the openQA web UI change, I can, yes, of course, I stopped the daemon of the web UI, so it's not going to show anything. But if I need to change something in the web UI, I can run the web UI in another branch. For example, let me, I don't remember, maybe it's 10 with status. Yes, I am in test for test, so I can run now the daemon in another. Make node modules, of course, because if you don't have the node modules, okay, and let's run once again the web UI. So now we are in another branch. So in another maybe change, and you run the web UI, and you should see that if we are going to change something in the web UI on this branch, the openQA web UI is going to show us what the change is, basically. And this is really useful, and I think it's really easy to do with DistroBox. If someone has some question, otherwise I think we can close the workshop here.